episode of The Unknown Pro for you today with my birthday twin, one of my favorites, Keilani Ricketts.
Hey, Samuel. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. I really just want everyone to know that we have the same birthday because it's like a high point of my life knowing that.
I know. It's such a special day. I mean, before it was like the only time we'd ever text each other throughout the year.
So true.
Was on our birthday, and it was like, happy birthday. Oh, the last time I sent you a text was happy birthday, September 1st last year.
Very true. That's actually, you know what? Talk about consistency. Once a year, we'll text each other. Boom, done. See you next year.
Yeah, really.
I'm glad we upped it a little bit and that we text a little bit more than that now.
Yeah, a little bit.
So
it helps now during quarantine. I mean, there's a lot more stuff to bring up. Not really though, but you know, boxing classes.
That is true. I'm like, hey, what can we talk about now? Because we've talked about pretty much everything else. What can I bring up?
Love is Blind.
Love it. Oh, that was going strong for a couple of weeks. Thank God we had that.
I know, really. That was a good transition to come into quarantine with Love is Blind. I just wish they could have come up with another season for us during quarantine.
No, that would have been great. And so just for those who are listening and watching, Keilani and I are in a group chat with Jordan Taylor and Kelly Crutchman, okay? And
revealed.
Real, and all we do is just talk nonsense. I don't think we talk about many serious things, but when Love is Blind was on, poor Kelly.
Kelly needs to get on it, yeah. Like, us three were going at it. She probably had about 90 text messages from us.
She's like, God, I hate this.
Yeah. And she still never gave it a try.
I don't think she did. She
didn't want to fit in, I guess.
No, well, now she'll never know. She'll look at the memes and just be like, I don't get it.
Exactly.
Oh, bless. Well, anyway, so enough about our social life, even though it's booming. Before we get started and really dive deep into the very difficult questions I have ready for you, you're basically, oh God. Just to give people a background on you and kind of what you've done in the softball world. You graduated from Oklahoma, Boomer Sooner. In 2013. You also won the national championship in 2013. So talk about a good way to go out. You were 2-time collegiate player of the year and you were back-to-back player of the year. That was, I think, the first time that's happened.
No.
It wasn't. Okay, cool. So we'll just forget.
Yeah, I think like Danielle.
Oh, Danielle Laurie did, huh?
Yeah, someone named Kat Osterman. I think another girl named Monica Abbott and Lisa Fernandez.
Those sound. I'll Google those ladies and see what.
Yeah, they might ring a bell if you Google them.
Wow, I don't know where I pulled that from, but anyway, way to make it interesting, Sam.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. You were four-time All-American, so every time you stepped on the field, you became an All-American. 4-time first-team All-Big 12. You were 2-time Big 12 Pitcher of the Year. And then you won the Honda Award in 2012 as a junior, and then the Honda Cup in 2013, which we do know there's a difference between the two, but we're not sure what the difference is.
So, yeah. Well, no, the Honda Cup is like for all athletes. So there's a Honda Award for each sport, and then they'll choose like the Honda Cup winner. And so I think Rachel Garcia just won it this past year, and before it's a bunch of UCLA girls that have won it. Natasha Watley, Lisa Fernandez, Rachel Garcia. So yeah, it's pretty cool when softball gets to win it.
Right on. Cool. Okay, now I'm more excited and I'm upset that I didn't actually know the difference. So anyway, moving on. You played for Team USA in 2011 and 2012, and then again in 2018 to present. With USA, you won a silver and gold medal at World Championships. And then you're the career holder for Oklahoma records in wins, strikeouts, shutouts. You hit 50 home runs in college. And then after college, you played with the Pride for like ever, 2013 to kind of present.
Yeah, kind of present. Yeah. When I was off and on with USA.
Right.
So last year I just showed up for championships. Like, hey,
let's win. And then you were in the Japan Pro League for 5.5 seasons with Shoki. So that's a lot of softball when you look at it on paper.
Yeah, man. On paper, ball is life.
Yeah, truly. And then, on your arm and your body, ball is for sure life.
It sure is.
Oh, man. So I think I want to talk first about the fact that you were a hitting pitcher, which you don't see a lot. You don't see hardly at all in baseball, but it's something you don't see a ton in softball either. Not only were you hitting pitcher, but you were a successful hitting pitcher. You were a 350 career hitter with 50 home runs, that's a lot. What was it that made, like, because like, there's a lot of girls who hit and then they decide, okay, I'm just going to stick to pitching when I'm going to go to college or whatever. What was it throughout you growing up playing, being a hitting pitcher, that kept you doing both those things?
I would say, when I was younger, when I was like 10 to 14, I wasn't always like the ace on the team for pitching. So it's like I always had to try to find a way to play, find a way to give to the team and stuff. And so it was, whether it was playing in the outfield, playing first, and I was able to hit too and stuff. And the team that I was on, our club team, I guess we weren't as competitive. We didn't really make nationals much. And so, everyone just kind of hit. Whoever was hitting that day got to get in the lineup. And so that always helped, I guess. And then when I got to college, going through the recruiting process and everything, just hearing from different coaches saying if I was going to be able to hit for myself or not. And Coach Gasso told me when I was being recruited that I'll be able to hit for myself. And a lot of the pitchers didn't really at Oklahoma at the time, like when I was in high school. And, I was actually pretty fortunate that she let me still stick with it. I was honestly surprised. I thought for a while she wasn't good because my freshman year I was a terrible hitter. I think I hit like 200, 5 home runs. And I was pitching a lot my freshman year. And so I think at a time she had asked, like, do you want to stop hitting? Do you want to just focus on pitching? And I was like, no, I still want to keep hitting. And so I was fortunate that she was able to like give me that option, and that she really did trust that, it was going to come around, because I think from then on, my stats were getting better and better, and I was starting to get better at hitting and stuff. But yeah, I think just her having the confidence in me, that helped me a lot to continue to want to hit for the team.
That's cool. Because that could, if she didn't have that confidence in you, then I feel like that would have really translated into you not having confidence to continue going with it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you see that a lot when hitting pitchers come to college. It's like, oh, is she going to be able to handle it? And it's like, it could be a lot. And, and it's like when they start to take something away from you in that way, it's like, oh, you can't handle it. Like, you can only pitch. Like, who knows what that'll do to your confidence as a pitcher? It's like either one way it'll be like relieving things, but the other way it's like, oh, like, can I not handle that? So it could have gone either ways. But, it's just, I'm fortunate that she let me keep hitting.
Yeah. And speaking of that mental level, that confidence stuff, what was it like for you when you're the starting pitcher, but then, say you gave up a run and then you're second up to bat the next inning, how were you able to separate it or use it to help one or the other?
People ask me all the time, like, what do you like? Would you rather just pitch, or would you want to like pitch and hit and stuff? And I think that I feel more engaged in the game when I'm able to do both at the same time. It's like you're able to help on offense and defense. And, like if you do give up a run, or you do, like, if you're getting hit that one inning, you're able to try to redeem yourself in a way when you're coming up to bat the next inning, and like try to help the team out in this way. It's like, oh, today's not my day with pitching. Maybe I can help the team out hitting. Yeah. And so I think it's nice with that aspect. I think my freshman year, it was hard for me to kind of juggle both. And so I remember Coach Lombardi, our pitching coach at the time. So they were trying to like get me to like not be as frustrated on the mound because I wasn't hitting as well my freshman year. And she was like, you need to figure out a way to like separate the two. And she was like, maybe if you like go take a water break before you go out on the mound. I'm like, okay, yeah, like just to clear my brain or whatever. Yeah. And so I went and I would strike out, or I'd get out with people on base, and I'd go out and I'd go to grab my glove, and Coach Lombardi would just look at me and just point to the water jug at the end of the dugout. And so I'd have to like drop my glove, go to the end of the dugout. And it was like when I was going to the end of the dugout, it was like me leaving the pitching or the hitting side of me, drink my water. Okay, I'm going to be the pitcher now. So, little tricks like that I was able to kind of separate the two.
Oh my God, that's so funny. How much work did it take to be successful at both? Especially because if you were struggling as a hitter your freshman year, did you then have to put more work into it at practice or on your own? Like, how much work went into making you the hitter and pitcher that you are?
I wouldn't really I wouldn't say it was so much extra work just because I was so used to it, I guess. It was just everyone was working hard at practice, and so I just saw it as that way. It's like, okay, I'm doing my pitching, and then okay, I'm doing my hitting, where it's like the fielders doing their fielding practice and then doing their hitting practice. It was just always staying active at practice. Sometimes I would have to stay after if I didn't get enough time with the bullpen or didn't get enough time with hitting with the coach. And so it didn't seem like hard work for me, though. It just seemed like it was normal. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm just staying active, practicing with everyone.
Another day at the office.
Yeah.
I love it.
Especially now with the USA, we, like, all of the pitchers except for Kat and Monica, they pitch, they play first base. Everyone just plays different positions. Everyone's kind of thrown everywhere. And so everyone's constantly active. And so, especially with Allie and Rachel. And so it's just like, okay, yeah, we're getting this working, now this working. And so it's nice that it's like there's that I'm not the only one that's like being the hitting pitcher. It's there's a bunch of us.
part of the normal at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool because especially if it builds a way for you to just naturally get the work instead of having to try to shed time or figure out how can I fit it in here, because like it's your craft. Both are your craft, and both are so important, so you have to have that time to do it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So Oklahoma, I feel like my Keilani Ricketts moment from watching you in college, because I felt like I knew you because when I was a senior in college, we played against the Sorcerers in like a state tournament, and you hit me in the butt with a pitch. And
seems to be the norm for righties for me.
Like, of all the places to hit, I'm so glad it was there,
Yeah, not the rib cage. Usually it's the rib cage I'm hearing about. Sorry, you're not the only one. I don't know if that makes you feel better or
not. And so from there, I thought, you know what, like, we're connected, whether we're ever gonna meet and be friends again. I was like, Keilani Ricketts, I see your
hit my butt.
Yeah, right in the chest. But I just remember you guys were playing at Arizona. I don't know what year it was, and you hit a home run. You know that brick wall at Arizona? Uh-huh. I mean, into outer space. And I just remember thinking, man, like, she's cool.
Wow.
I don't know why, because you've hit so many, home runs in front of people, and I just remember that was the one where I was like, dang, look at you, go Keilani. I didn't know you yet. I just knew you hit me in the butt, and I was a fan, So Oklahoma, I mean, you guys did so much in your time there. But I think the cool thing is that you went in 2012, and I'm sure we were talking before that this has been coming up in conversation, but that you guys lost in 2012, came back and won in 2013 with pretty much the same team. What happened to you personally, and did anything happen with the team where you guys are like, okay, we're not letting that happen again? Did you change anything? What was the difference from one year to the next?
Well, I think 2012, we kind of surprised ourselves in a way to making the championship game. We surprised ourselves, but then we didn't, because we felt like we were the hottest team in the country at the time. And, it's like we were on a roll, and we didn't even think about losing. We're like, okay, like next game, okay, we'll win next game. And then it's like when we lost the national championship, it was in such heartbreaking fashion, and we didn't know how to kind of cope with that, I guess. And even with Patty Gasso, it's like she had won the national championship in 2000, but she had never been in that kind of situation where it's like game 3, you're like losing, coming up so close. And so, it's actually funny. Well, not funny. I guess kind of funny now, 7 years later. Yeah. Not really, though. But so the beginning of summer, we lost national championship for the World Series, and then went and played for Team USA, and we went to World Championships. And it was like the end of our summer, we lost the World Championship in extra innings in heartbreaking fashion. And so I'm just like, wow, this is just not my summer. I begin the summer losing national championship, and end the summer losing a World Championship.
Dang it.
Yeah, but it was just kind of weird, because for me, in high school and like even growing up, when I'd always been like part of championship teams, I guess. I'd never kind of been on the other side of it in a way. I mean, when I got to championship games, it's like obviously when like our team wasn't making nationals, or we were getting 64th place in nationals. And so, like in high school, it's like we won nationals at my senior year, and then we for like the high school national champion. So for me, it was just kind of weird, like, wow, like it's kind of heartbreaking having to lose like 2 big championships in the same season. So, but I think for us, like as a team going into 2013, it's like we realized that, I don't know, there's just a lot. I think for one thing, it was just we were all on the same page. No, you're like you said, it was like no one wanted it to happen again. It was almost like we were refusing to have it again. Like that was our mentality going through the entire year, just from game one. And it was just like a consistency of like consistency of like us not being denied, I guess. And it was awesome to be able to feel like everyone on the same page with that. And you could see it, especially in a lot of our big games that we needed to win, like whether it's Big 12 conference or like playing a ranked team or something, or even like in postseason, a lot of the big games were won from the bottom of the lineup, I would say. Not in bottom of the lineup, like would be the ones getting the big hits off of these really good pitchers, or at the top of the lineup, we were kind of struggling off of them. Or it was even like Michelle Gascoigne. She was the number 2 pitcher, but I mean, she was arguably number 1 with me. And she was winning the big game. She won the last game of the national championship. And so, you know, we were the same team, but I think everyone was able to step up that next year because, you know, everyone wanted it so bad for each other. Yeah. And, you know, I think if I were to go back and like look at 2012, just looking at the way we were kind of in the national championship, it was almost like people, like we were looking at each other. It's like, oh, Lauren, are you going to hit another home run for us to win? And it's like, oh, she had 2 home runs. It's still not enough for us. And it's like, people were just kind of looking for each other, like, oh, like, are you going to do this? Like, are you going to do this? Like, step up for us. But when it came down to 2013, in every game, when everyone was stepping up, and it's just like when it got to the World Series and the national championship, it was, everyone was having each other's back. And you know, I was saying this to a travel ball team yesterday in a Zoom meeting. I was saying like the differences between like championship teams that I've been on and teams that, whoa.
Sorry, there was a huge B. This is such a good, keep going.
Okay, where was I? And teams that I've been on that when we've lost championships, I would say one of the biggest differences I'd seen is like, one is just people not totally bought into the game plan, where championship teams, everyone is bought into the game plan. There's not one person that is like not bought in. And then the other is just, you want your teammate to be a champion more than you want yourself to be the hero when the game's on the line. Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is like a lot of times in pressure situations, you could get up and it's like, oh, I have to be a hero. Or if you get up and it's like, I want to get some runs on the board for my teammate. Like, she deserves this. Like, there's just such a difference in handling the pressure that way. And it's just the fact that like we wanted it so much for each other. I think that is like what made us so strong.
That's so cool. And that what's interesting is I've always felt this way about softball, is that it's a team sport, but like you're doing it individually, you know, like,
oh yeah,
I have to put my best foot forward for Keilani. Like, I have to be the best that I can be first, and then I can go and I can help be a part of this team, you know? So everything that you just said makes it sound like, okay, I need to make sure that I have my teammates' backs. We're all working together, and not any bit of that is selfish. Not any bit. It's all for the team. It's all for each other. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. And it's funny. Just being on these Zoom calls with all these like travel ball teams and stuff, I start to like realize things. And so like one of the things I was saying before was, it feels like it could be such an individualized sport. It's like you're the only shortstop, you're the only second baseman, you're the only person on the mound, and it's like even at the batter's box, like you're the only one in the batter's box. So it feels so individualized, but at the same time, like when I could think of some of the worst times in the sport, or the times that like I really like needed to figure it out, I look to my teammates. Like I find strength from my teammates, and it's like that's what it's like. Sometimes we just get so much into like this tunnel of like, oh, it's just us out there. Wow. But in reality, it's like we're way stronger when like we're able to actually take our teammates, like their help and their support in.
Oh yeah, working together. There's you know, it's hard to explain, because at any given time it's one person doing the thing at a time. But when you're like in it together and all the moving pieces are together,
yes,
it's indescribable, to be fair.
It is, yeah.
Do you think that you personally, like losing that game or that world championship, the national championship, and then the world championship. Do you think that changed you or grew you as a competitor? Like, do you think that it made you more competitive after that?
I don't. It changed me as a competitor. I don't know if it made me more competitive after that. I think I was, still competitive, but in a different way, where it was like being able to rely on my teammates, not feeling the need that I have to do it all myself. And it's like, hey, Michelle's just as good as pitcher, and like she can get it done too. And like just knowing that like my teammates are gonna have my back and understanding that, I think like that puts ease with you out on the mound too. And it's like you're still able to go out there and compete and stuff. But yeah, I think that would be the only way, is just like understanding that I'm still going out there and I'm still gonna grind as a pitcher, but like understanding like what's going on like with my teammates around me. It just changes like the whole vision of things, I guess.
That's cool. I think that's awesome. And that's something that you can then take to every other team that you're playing on, is knowing how you felt in that moment, knowing how you felt before and how you felt after, and being able to, have your future teammates or whoever you're playing with now being able to learn from that and feel that from you too, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I, especially going to Pride after 2013, it's like going through Pride the past however many seasons I was with them, 7 maybe,
yeah,
7, 5.5, whatever it was. But it's like we always had such a big pitching staff, and like that staff was always so awesome. Everyone was a starter, like the ace of their college team, and so you have about like 5 aces on the team.
Yeah,
and then Jordan, our closer, our Mariano. But so we would have so many aces, and so just having to like realize it's not so much of like, oh, I want to be the number 1 pitcher on Pride, but it's like I want to be able to help the team out, and it's like being able to do my job this day and being able to understand like it's just such a different role from college. Where college, it's like doing your role every single day almost, of like being the ace every day. Where just like sharing the ace role, it was definitely a weird transition for me, but I think like being able to like kind of pass the torch, kind of what we do with hitting, like that was kind of the mentality we had with Pride, and I think that's why the past few years we had such a successful pitching staff, like consistent, just being able to like pass the torch to each other and just having like close battery in that way.
Yeah. Oh, I remember playing against the Pride and thinking, okay, well, which ace are we getting today? Like, no games off here.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun in that bullpen. Just being able to learn from them too. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's dream.
I can only imagine. It'd be like going in for me being able to play with Natasha Watley and just sit and watch her do her thing at short and be like, you keep playing. I just want to watch it.
Really, batting practice was ridiculous. Still is.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
so seriously. Fun. Yeah.
God. Do you think that being a hitter helped you get into that role? Because like as a pitcher, like you said, when you're the ace, you're out there, you're doing your thing every day, right? As a hitter, you're used to some days you were the winning hitter, some days you weren't involved at all. Do you think that having that mentality of a hitter, like you said, passing the torch, helped you to go into a staff after college?
Now that you say that, I don't know if I really saw it that way, I guess, but I think that's probably why it was such a hard transition for me.
Yeah.
And, but I think like towards the past few years, thinking that way and thinking like, oh, okay, like just like I said before, like being able to find strength in my teammates, like I think that kind of like just helped being able to think the mentality of passing the torch and stuff to the other pitchers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I feel like softball is just always, it's just a game. 28 years old, still trying to figure out how to play it.
Not a clue.
Really.
Every time I feel like I learned something, it makes me realize, did I know anything before?
I know. And it's like, shouldn't I have learned this when I was 12? Why am I now learning this?
I said this to someone the other day. Like, I wish that I could be in college right now with everything that I've learned since then. I feel like I'd be a more complete player.
And I was like, wait. No, now I know how to do this. Yes. Let's go again.
Let's go, So speaking of Team USA, how was it going? You were with them in 2011, 2012, which 2012 was when we met. and then after that, you were with pro, you were with Japan. What was it like coming back, especially if you could think about Keilani in 2011, 2012, and then Keilani when she came back in 2018? How has that been?
Well, I think the biggest thing was when in 2011 and 2012, softball was out of the Olympics. They didn't know when it was going to be back in. And when I came back in 2018, it was like, softball's back in, let's qualify for the Olympics this year. Yeah. And so such a different atmosphere in that way. Such a different goal for the team and everything. And Keilani, she was a baby then, 2011, 12, just having fun with, we were all college players back then, it felt like. I think we had maybe 2-3 girls out of college, maybe, but for the most part, we were all in college. Yeah. And coming back now, it was like, there's only about 2 or 3 that are in college. And so, yeah, it's so different. And then now that with softball back in the Olympics, it's such a, I see USA way differently than what I used to see it way back then. It's like, I see us, well, obviously it's like we're the Olympic team and like we're competing for a gold medal in the Olympics, not just world championships. Right. That didn't qualify for us for the Olympics before. So yeah, I think just being able to, like, the competition and just the atmosphere, I guess, with that goal in mind, it's a lot different.
Did you think,
in a good way, obviously?
Right, of course, like in a very grand way.
Yeah.
Did you think when you were done after the 2012 season, did you think that you'd be coming back eventually, or did you leave it thinking bye-bye?
I had no idea. I think just with softball in general, everything is just always so much up in the air. And with the Olympics being out, it was just, international ball was just kind of unknown at that time. And then especially at the beginning of the decade and now the end of the decade, how much softball has grown. And then thinking about every year, like we were talking before this, but in 2013, it was like I graduated college. I went and played for Pride and then went and played in Japan. And it's just, I didn't realize my life was going to change so drastically within 1 to 2 months. And then even every year since I've been a professional softball player, I'll look back at the last year and it's like, wow, I didn't realize I was going to be here. I didn't realize like when I was on the 2018 team for USA, I was like, 2017, I didn't realize I was going to be trying out and I was going to be on the team and qualifying for the Olympics. And so, yeah, I think softball has definitely taught me, the softball world for us at least, in professional softball has taught me, it's just, there's always so much unknown, and especially with this whole quarantine thing. I think it's somewhat, we've been able to handle this because we are so used to this softball life, and it's like, okay, yeah, training at home, we're used to it. Softball's taken out of our lives. We're used to it, just keep training. And so I think softball players were meant for this.
Honestly, whenever anybody asks, like, how are you doing during this time? Like, I'm like, nothing has changed for me.
I know.
I'm just
really, I'm pitching by myself again.
Right. Trying to drag Kevin out to hit me a freaking ground ball. It's just the same old May for me.
Does he hit you ground balls?
Yeah, the first time I took him was like in 2015, and he would throw the ball really, really high and then miss it. And I'm like, bro, we'll figure out the mechanics. And
yeah, I don't touch him. He has to roll me ground balls. if he tried, but he just tries to hit lasers at my face. It's like, I get it. You're strong. You can hit the ball hard. You hit me a ground ball. But no, he just has to roll it.
I love that. Anytime Kevin does hit like a hard line drive, we both are like, wow, cool. Good job. Oh man. Yeah, no, we really do know how to kind of roll with the punches when after college and you're playing softball, because you don't know what tomorrow is going to look like. You don't know if you're going to be playing next, who knows? I mean, so that's cool taking it kind of one day at a time, so to speak, for what you've been doing.
Yeah. People keep asking me what I'm going to do after the Olympics, and it's like, I still don't know. I mean, softball takes me in some crazy places, so we'll see. Life takes you in crazy places.
It really does. And when you went to Japan, did you graduate Oklahoma in 4 years?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay. So when you went, you won the national championship, you played with Pride, and then you went to Japan. What was it like going away? Because you're from California, so going to Oklahoma, you already had gone away. Mm-hmm. What was it like when you went away to Japan that first time you're, you know, a doe-eyed 22-year-old?
You know, when I first signed to go over there, I was thinking, I'm like, I'm not gonna want to live in Japan. I'm not gonna like living in Japan. I don't know why I'm signing. And I was like, I'll just give it a season, you know, maybe just 1 year. And then it's like I get over there and it was so much fun. Like I'm sure you could say the same thing. It was just like, wow. It's a different type of softball. And the thing is, it's like their culture is so welcoming and the girls just love you and they're so welcoming to you. And so that made it a lot of fun, and especially with the team that I was on. I played for the same team that Danielle Laurie, Michelle Smith played for, and Kat had played for them. And so it's like they had been used to foreigners for about 15, 20 years before. And so they're very accommodating to us. We were very spoiled. You know, we had our own, like, it felt like we were in college without the school, just with how much fun it was. And so I think I just saw it that way. And then obviously getting to explore the country and stuff. It was a lot of fun. And so every year I'm just like, okay, I guess I'll go back another year. Okay, another year. And then 5.5 years later, I'm like, wow, I'm almost fluent in Japanese.
Yeah, seriously. It's like so effortless for you at this point.
Yeah, at least around the softball. It's like, I feel like when I was talking to my teammates, I felt like I was like totally fluent. And then I go out to the grocery store and someone's talking to me and it's like, that is not what I've been learning. You are not speaking Japanese.
Oh my God. Yeah. Especially
even like talking to, like, say your teammates, I'd go up to them and start saying some of the slang stuff that my teammates say. And they're just like, what are you saying?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And it's like their own created language, especially when they combine English and Japanese together.
Oh yeah.
You're like, you know what? I don't think anybody was meant to understand this except for me.
Yeah, except for these softball players.
Except for our little circle. But yeah, man, 5.5 years over in Japan. Do you feel? I mean, and what a time in your life to be over there in your 20s, you know? And do you feel like it helped you grow, or do you feel like it escalated the process of you maybe becoming more mature, or how do you think, looking back on that 5.5 years over there, what do you think it really did for you?
Yes, I think it helped me mature a lot.
Yeah.
Especially just coming out of high school and college. College, it's like everything's kind of like, you know, coaches are telling you what to do. You have your strength coach telling you what to do. You have, like, I had a nutritionist because I was in Chub Club. Did you guys have that? Okay, so it was pretty much the girls that didn't make the conditioning test, our mile, if they didn't make it, they were in Chub Club. And then for some reason, even though I made the mile every year, I was still in Chub Club. Oh my God. Don't know why.
Damn it.
But yeah, so, you know, it's just, we always had so much help kind of just telling us what to do with our lives. And so it was like going to Japan, just, you're on your own in a foreign land, just having to figure out, you know, how to cook healthy, how to work out, like figure out my workout regimen. And so being able to, like, learn that whole thing and doing it by myself, and just wanting to experience life outside of softball too, being able to travel. You know, people would ask, like, oh, do you like to travel and stuff in college? And it's just like, I never really thought of it. I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, if someone tells us to go play softball in Canada, I'm just going to go play softball in Canada, I guess. Right. Someone told me to go to Japan, but then it was like, once I had gone to Japan, it's like, wow, there's so much of another world out there. Like, I want to go to this country now. I want to go travel here and stuff. And so, yeah, it's really cool to be able to see the world outside of just the American softball view.
Other than the usual softball fields we're at.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in 2012 when we were with USA, sitting in a meeting talking about the fact that the World Championships in 2014 were going to be in the Netherlands. And I remember sitting, this is just so funny because I remember sitting in that meeting, having just brand new made Team USA in 2012, thinking, oh my God, that's scary. I don't want to go to the Netherlands. First of all, had barely made the team just now. I've been on the team 20 minutes. I'm thinking, that's too far. I'm so scared.
Congratulations. What?
Yeah, like
Netherlands?
The fact that we have to, like, go to Canada now, you know, it's I think it's one of those things that once you do it, then you get it.
Exactly. You don't know until you try.
Exactly. You know, and I think that's cool because it just, that, like you said, you don't know what it's going to bring. So then you're in Japan and then it makes you want to go see this place, go see that place, go do, you know, it just continues to broaden the horizon.
Yeah, I get people all the time telling me, it's like, oh, I don't want to go to Japan. Oh, like that's so far. And it's like, you don't know until you try. I didn't think I wanted to go at all.
Yeah, I remember being there the first, couple weeks when I was there for my first season with Toda and thinking, I'm never gonna understand what they're saying to me. This is so great. And then all of a sudden, you talking to me and not say a word of English, and I'd be like, yeah, no, I totally agree. You preach it, sister. Like, you said it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
man.
hilarious. Like when you speak Japanese to them, or you say something in Japanese with like someone who doesn't understand next to you, and their words are so much longer. Like, please, onegaishimasu. And so like you'll say that. I remember saying that in front of my mom. She's like, wow, you just said a full-on sentence. I'm like, I just said one word, Mom.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, this language.
Yeah.
Man.
It makes you sound smarter though.
I know, right? Oh gosh. It definitely is a different experience being over there, learning what you learn, and then gosh, for being over there as long as you were. And I'm sure it helped too, growing kind of an independence. Like you said, now you don't have someone telling you what to do, all that you have to figure out what to do on your own and create your own routine where you're like, this is what I do, this is what I like. And do you feel like that?
Yes. I would say I think I was somewhat independent in college, but I guess I just didn't really know it until I went to Japan. I guess we all kind of have that, our own little independence, and it's just like once I was over there, it's like, wow, this is great. Like I really do like my alone time.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
That's what I told Kevin the other day. I said, I'm really like, this doesn't mean to come off bad, but I read a lot more books when I was in Japan than when I'm here hanging out with you. You're really cutting into my book time, man. But
sometimes you just have to like go to separate rooms. It's like, okay, alone time now.
I'll talk to you later. But yeah, I mean, everything that you've done, it's really cool to see, everything you're able to do in college, everything that you've been able to do since then. And the fact that I've played with you and you are a fun teammate. You do root for.
Thanks, Samu. You too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like it's nice, especially because of a position of a pitcher where you've got like a lot of pressure on you already because you're in the circle. You're every pitch you're involved because obviously, so it's understanding when a pitcher might be kind of a different type of teammate because you are like the game is in your hands for the most part, but no, you're an enjoyable teammate. You're someone who like, even just nice one, Samu, just stuff like that. I think it's really cool, but it's cool to see how you are continuing to learn. I think that's, you can attest a lot to why you've been successful all these years is because you're always learning.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think you could say the same thing. It's just one of the things that keeps us going is, it's just like wanting to keep getting better. It's like you finish the season. It's like, okay, like I want to try to do this off season, like getting ready for this next season. And it's like, oh, I didn't realize I was going to be playing until I was 28 plus.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's fun being able to continue playing a sport for a living somewhat. Right. And just being able to like continue to like want to get better at it, and with it being fun. I guess I just said fun twice in one sentence, but it's cool. Beginning and end. It's just a lot of fun.
And we have fun, and trying to have more fun, but
fun.
Yeah.
Did I say it was fun? Did I mention that?
So do you think softball is fun?
Yes or yes.
Yeah, and good things, the day you stop enjoying it, the day that it's not fun for you anymore, that's the day that you're like, okay, this is, I don't need to do this anymore. But I've been telling this to Kevin as well, because he didn't have any involvement in sports or really know much about anything. But I told him, I said, I cannot tell you when I'm going to stop because I'm always going to want to play. I'm always going to love it. I'm always going to think it's fun. you know, those decisions.
You talk to girls that have retired, and it's just like it's like they just know, like that season is like, this is the season and stuff. Yeah. It's like, and so people, especially with 2020, with like the Olympics coming up, a lot of people, it's like, this is going to change the softball world so much. But it's like, well, right now, it's like, yeah, if the Olympics was in 2020, like, I understand like how the softball world would have changed so much after July.
Right.
And it's just like, for me right now, I'm just like, I don't like, I'm not telling myself that. Like, it doesn't feel like, okay, it's time to retire now, like after the season. Like, even though, I don't know, I guess we'll just have to see how the softball world's going to change and just keep going from there, just like we've been doing. Just
day
like
by day.
Every year of this past decade's been treating us with softball.
I know, that's so true. God, I don't know what, like, I couldn't picture what life would look like without it. So right now our routine is just see what happens. Can I play?
Yeah.
Cool, let's go. You want me to go there?
Really. It's unknown. That's okay.
I don't know what uniform I'm going to be in. That's cool. Great. As long as I can have my number, throw me in a hot pink uniform. Let's go.
I don't know if I could picture you in a hot pink uniform.
Well, good thing Toda wears the hot pink uniforms.
Oh, you're right.
I
definitely faced you with a hot pink uniform.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is that was my favorite uniform that we had. Like, I loved that pink uniform.
Time out.
Yeah.
Yes. The what? My table is the refrigerator, so.
Oh my God.
Just a moment.
I'll put my computer on the washing machine sometimes and be like, pause cycle.
Okay, we're good.
Welcome back, Keilani.
I'm here, guys.
I was
telling Sammy before, I was doing like virtual lessons here in the garage, and my sister-in-law didn't know that I was in here, and she had pressed like, we have a key fob that opens and closes the garage, and she had closed the garage on me, and I was like mid-instruction, and then it just goes black. It's like, excuse me, I'm in the garage right now.
So really visualize your kid.
Yeah, exactly. This is the visualization process.
Exactly. You can't see me, just picture me.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, thank you for sitting and talking to me. I think that we talked about a lot of cool things just with everything that you've been through and everything that you've done and your thought process along the way. Cause you know, it's been.
Sorry, you got cut off, but I think you were saying thank you. So
yeah, I was saying thank you. So I really, I thought you were just listening intently. I didn't realize you were frozen. But
I'm really hitting a spot here.
Yeah, no, I just think it's been cool to learn kind of your thought process through everything that you've done, everything that you've been through, and how softball has rewarded you in so many ways, and that you just keep giving back to the game, you know. So yeah, thanks for chatting with good old Samu.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Samu. I'm so honored. I was really nervous after seeing your last podcast. I'm like, wow, she's going in on these girls. I hope my questions aren't as hard.
No mercy.
So thanks for having me, and thank you for, you just have such a special personality, and so I'm so glad that you're just sharing it with the rest of the world, not just us softball players that get to see it and in the group chat. So I'm so glad you're doing this podcast. Good luck with it.
Thank you, Lonnie. That's so nice. I try to make sure I get the best gifts I can in the group chat, so. No.
You definitely are in first place for the gifts. I try way too hard to get it to your level, but
dude, some days you do real good though. Some days you send some real good ones.
Yeah, like once every 2 months. You are like a daily one.
Like, time to send another one. But man, thanks, Lonnie. That means a lot to me, and I hope that I can see you in person soon, and that we can maybe hug instead of be 6 feet away. I don't know.
Not like a virtual hug.
I know, right? That'll do for now, I guess. But
yeah.
Have a good rest of your day, and happy Friday. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the group chat.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.